Big news just dropped from the Big Apple. The New York Giants have officially fired head coach Brian Daboll, ending what turned into a disappointing and drama-filled season for a team that once looked like a rising power in the NFC. Now, while all the headlines are about the Giants right now, this move actually has major ripple effects for the Atlanta Falcons. Yep, what happens in New York could absolutely impact what happens right here in Flowery Branch, and I'm going to break it all down right now. Now, the number one impact that no one's really talking about, the Atlanta Falcons could land a proven offensive coordinator. Now, let's start with the obvious. Brian Daboll is one of the top offensive minds in football. Before taking over in New York, he built one of the league's most explosive offenses in Buffalo, and he helped develop Josh Allen into an MVP caliber quarterback. And look, if the Falcons want to fix the offense, steady the ship, and finally give Michael Penix Jr. a chance to shine, Daboll could be that guy. He's smart, creative, and he knows how to scheme around mobile quarterbacks who thrive outside the pocket. Exactly the kind of coach that Penix could benefit from right now. Now, even if Raheem Morris sticks around as the head coach, bringing in a proven play caller like Daboll could breathe new life into an offense that's been flatlining under Zach Robinson. This would be the type of move that instantly changes the Falcons' trajectory headed into the next season. Now, the number two impact, the Giants create vacancies and more competition for top candidates in the NFL. Now, this is the part that people really aren't talking about, especially when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons. When the Giants fired Daboll, they didn't just make headlines, they opened up a highly desirable head coaching job in one of the biggest markets in football. And that's a big problem for the Atlanta Falcons. Because if the Atlanta Falcons decide to move on from Raheem Morris this offseason, they'll be competing with New York for the same pool of candidates. And let's be real, the Giants are a historic franchise. They've got a huge fan base, massive visibility, and a roster that still has some really good young talent. That makes them an appealing destination for a lot of coaches. So if Arthur Blank is planning to make a change, he's going to have to move fast because the coaching carousel just got a lot more crowded. Now, guys like Clint Kubiak, who's been getting a lot of buzz around the league as one of the next big offensive minds, those are names that could get snapped up super quick. And the Giants' decision just turned this offseason into a race. And if Arthur Blank wants to make a move, he can't afford to get left behind. Now, the third reason why this impacts the Atlanta Falcons is because the Giants could fire, sell, and open the door for the Atlanta Falcons to poach some good talent. Now, here's where things get really interesting. When a team fires its head coach, the head coach is rarely just the one to move on. Usually a GM change follows, and then the roster starts to get reshaped. If the Giants enter full rebuild mode, the Falcons could absolutely swoop in and take advantage. A few names to watch. Jalen Hyatt, a young explosive wide receiver who could stretch the field. The Falcons desperately need a vertical threat, and Hyatt fits that bill perfectly. 2, Dexter Lawrence, one of the best interior defensive linemen in football. It would take some maneuvering to pull that off, but if the Giants start cleaning house, Atlanta should at least make a phone call. The point is, if New York hits reset, there are players on the roster who could fill real holes for the Falcons, and they might come cheaper than usual in a rebuild. Now, the number 4 way that this could impact the Atlanta Falcons, this could be a springboard for Raheem Morris to get fired. Let's be real. This move may also crank up the pressure on Arthur Blank. The Giants didn't wait around. They saw things weren't working, and they pulled the plug mid-season. If the Falcons continue to slide, Blake could take the same approach, moving quickly to get ahead of the coaching market while the top names are still available. You've got Brian Daboll, Clint Kubiak, and several other creative offensive minds potentially in the market. Joe Brady, can't forget about him. And if Atlanta wants to make a change, they can't afford to hesitate. Now, if the Falcons drop a couple more games, don't be shocked if Blank takes a page out of New York's playbook and makes a proactive move to reset this franchise before 2026. Now, here are my final thoughts. The Brian Daboll firing might seem like a New York story, but make no mistake, the ripple effects stretch all the way down I-85. And for the Falcons, it could mean, number 1, a chance to grab a proven offensive mind like Daboll. 2, tougher coaching market now that the Giants' job is open. 3, a potential opportunity to steal talent from a rebuilding New York roster. And 4, maybe, just maybe, the start of a domino effect that puts Raheem Morris squarely on the hot seat and maybe be gone next year. The Falcons season might be teetering, but the off-field drama is just heating up, and it starts with Brian Daboll, and it could end with Raheem Morris. We will see. But if you think Raheem Morris, number 1, should get fired, and 2, if you think the Atlanta Falcons should be, if he doesn't get fired, should be interested in bringing in Brian Daboll as offensive coordinator, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know how you feel, and if you want to see more videos like this, check this one out right here. And like always, peace.